Okay, guys, I think I just figured out the best explanation we have so far of the reason Mom is not the one that comes through the time machine. Let me explain. Also, I keep finding myself feeling like I need to apologize for how informal and low budget these videos are, but I'm just trying to commit to doing it this way because it's the only way that I can get it to you guys as fast as humanly possible. Okay, here's the pitch. We were just talking about how one of the things that the kid and the dad realize is that the building is being torn down. That we're where they find the time machine, the building is being torn down. So there's an added level of pressure and tension because that machine is about to disappear because the building is being demolished, and there's now a clock ticking on them getting the machine fixed so Dad gets sent back. Make sense? The other thing is the bad guy, which we're just sort of introducing. Well, what we talked about was I like that he would be like a really good guy, like episode 1, like he's really helpful to the kid. He's encouraging him, like he's seen in a positive light. And then like episode 3, it pivots and you see his true intentions, which are he's trying to get the kid to he starts realizing the kid is actually maybe capable of fixing the time machine. So he lets him do it and just keeps watch on him because he's trying to get him to fix the time machine so he can use it for himself. And the time machine, maybe you guys don't know this, it's like a one-off, there are 3 sort of resource meters. It takes a wood, a steel, and a grain to make it work. Think of it in that, and it takes them an episode each to get those resources. So they're trying to get, once they fix the machine, then they realize it doesn't work again because he depleted the resources that were already in there. But he didn't know that at the time. He just thought he had to fix it. Well, now it's fixed, but it's empty. So now they go on the journey of the next 3 episodes is trying to refill the resources. This is something me and Tyler developed. So the bad guy is watching him do this, keeping himself close to the situation, trying to make sure that when he gets when him and Dad get the resources fixed, he turns on them. And you know it probably by episode 3 or 4 that he's bad, but they don't know it until episode 5. Turns on him. His goal is, maybe this is actually what episode 5 is. His goal is this is 10 minutes old. Workshopping is there's a vault where he's been trying to break in and steal something. The goal is we're going to send someone in. They can break in, but their exit strategy would be, instead of using the time machine as a time machine, use it as a teleportation device. Instead of sending someone from the past to the present, or the present to the future, or the future to the past, send them from the present to the present. Pick the same time, but 2 different locations. So his goal would be get them, they can break in. All they have to do is break in and get hands on the thing and then snap them back out. I think an added layer of potential danger that we talked about was the bad guy takes the kid hostage, forces the dad to be the one that breaks in. So they actually have to get all their resources and then actually waste the resources, not to send Dad back to the past where he needs to go. They waste the resources to bring Dad out of jail, basically. Mm-hmm. Yes, so far? Yeah. Okay, so they use their resources that they just gathered to try and bring Dad, to get him out of the vault so he stays out of jail. Is this making sense so far? It refuses to focus on me. It's choosing literally everyone but me. All right. Well, that's fine. You guys can be in focus. Just this once. Can you see the newest member of our squad?
Not gonna lie, I thought that was a pregnancy.
Oh, yep. Miranda's pregnant.
Oh.
Miranda's pregnant. Hi, Elia. All right. So then. I was gonna say that sounded like a 2. Yeah. Okay, so they have to use the resources to keep Dad out of prison, mm-hmm. which sucks because this is episode 5 and they spent 3 episodes getting those resources. So there's no way at this point for them to send Dad back to the past. If you've seen Back to the Future or read anything about time travel, then you know that if Dad does not go back to the past, the boy never exists. If Dad doesn't go back to the past, Dad never conceives the son, which means the son never exists. So he has to go back. The whole series, Dad has to go back to the past. What?
Isn't she already pregnant?
Uh-oh. Guys, this is a serious problem. This is a massive oversight. She's already pregnant before the dad comes through the time. They're breaking up. They're breaking up, which means she's already pregnant, which means that all the grandfather paradox stuff doesn't make sense, which means technically the stakes are not the same. Dad doesn't have to go back because the kid already exists. The kid will exist no matter what. This is a problem. Help. Help now. Comments. Help. All right, we do need to fix that. We need to figure that out. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
So the part I really like that I just didn't have the camera on. We just got talking about it. I'm going to Mike Wazowski you. So she was asking why, essentially, I think your question was, we've talked about this, like what are the mechanics of why dad was at the bench? Mm-hmm. Like, why did dad come through the machine rather than mom? And I think we've gotten as far as they broke up, the kid, but it was always sort of just like the kid was off in his time, or mom misremembered the story, or I don't know. But I think we have a better solution for that. What if the totem, so basically if this is Santa's time machine, homie can't be multiple times a night every single Christmas Eve having to go through weird adventures to fill up the resource meters. There has to be an override that makes it work without the resources. It's like the resources are the backup if you don't have actual magic, essentially. You know, like you're sacrificing some sort of fuel if you don't actually have magic. So what Santa does is he has I don't know, an object, some sort of like totem that he uses in the machine, and that's what makes it work. But we were saying, what if so mom and dad meet at the park bench. Mom's at the park bench. Her and dad just broke up, which we already have decided on for the most part we feel good with. Her and dad just broke up. As soon as dad leaves, an older gentleman with a white beard and white hair meets mom at the bench. And give me your hand. Other hand. And it's the early 2000s, so it's like it wouldn't be an Apple Watch. Oh. So he does one of these where he like takes her hand and does one of these, puts his hand on top of hers, and when he does that, you see a tight, like a push-in. He takes her watch, and it's like an old school watch. He takes her watch and rotates the dial and actually changes the time. So mom doesn't realize that when she looked at her watch, thinking, I was on this park bench and I met this older gentleman. That's why she'd remember the moment. She looked at her watch because it was like, this guy is what, like, this consoled me. Mm-hmm. And so she always tells her son the story. Maybe she genuinely thinks she met Santa Claus.
That'd be
Maybe
cool.
she like straight up
It's
is
like
like,
the
the
story of when my
reason
mom met
she
Santa
remembers
Claus.
it is because at this exact moment I met Santa. I don't know. Maybe.
And he made me feel better.
And he's the one that like helped my
breakup.
heart heal after that breakup. Yeah. Like maybe that's why she remembers it. But at that moment, he swaps her watch so that the time is wrong by like, I was thinking either 7 minutes or 11 minutes. Right. In the old school watches, the dial is actually changing the time.
Yeah.
So he dials her watch for it, and it's like her father's watch that he handed down to her. So she hands it down to her son before she dies. So the son has mom's watch the whole series. But it would be funny if, like, from episode 1, seeds are planted about how he's always late to things because he refuses to fix the time on the watch. He keeps the time the way it was when he met, or when his mom gave it to him. Mm-hmm. And mom kept the watch the way it was the last time she had that encounter because, I don't know, she sees it as like a good luck charm or something like that. Yeah. But that watch is the reason when Santa changes the time, and I don't think he'll ever be called Santa. I think I want to keep him mysterious. Like,
his name can be Nick.
You can assume it, but I want the fact that Santa put that magic or whatever it is, he put that capacity in the watch in that moment because he knew it would be needed one day. So like when he changes the time, he also endows that watch with an ability none of them ever knew. So it's that moment where finally at the very end, all hope is lost. We can't send Dad back. We don't have any more resources. And then they realize somehow what the real story of the watch is. Like why why you came through is because Mom gave me the wrong time because Mom didn't realize that her watch was actually fast. And when they do that, they decide to fix the watch, turn it to the correct time. And when they do that, all the meters on the machine go to full. That's basically almost the end of episode 6. Like that's the way basically the machine gets fixed so the dad can go back. Dad goes back white. Past that is the only potential secret we're keeping. So other than that, I think leading up to that, we got to figure out the conception issue.
Yeah.
But that is still interesting on that. But I really like the watch. I like the idea. Let's focus on me now. I like the idea of the watch like getting changed at the park bench, and that's the reason that she misunderstood what time it actually was. Mm-hmm. And I like the idea that that watch becomes the totem for like how the time machine can work without resources. It's kind of a bummer in the sense that you realize at the end all of their adventure was unnecessary.
All for nothing.
It was all for nothing. If you had just not been stupid, you could have just stuck the watch in there in the first place and not had to do all this work. But, Norm, it's focusing on your face. But at the very least, I think pieces of this work. Let me know in the comments. Thoughts. I think that at least the watch stuff and some of the villain stuff is very interesting. But let me know. Love you. See you later. Say bye. Say bye, Elia. All right, whatever. Don't talk, whatever. Deuces.
I wanna ooh-wee.